Never knew, Fred.
Wasn't lucky enough to be in a picture with him. What an odd way to start the review of episode 1 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I keep saying the other way round. I keep saying Winter Soldier and the Falcon. I'm now doubting which way round it goes.
It's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
It is, isn't it? So this is going to go well. I can't even get the title right. I'd just like to point out, also, we both happen to have T-shirts we bought with our star signs on, and we both got them on today. And it wasn't even planned.
It totally wasn't.
But it looks good for the video.
It does.
So, yes, obviously, as we have done with WandaVision, we will be reviewing... which way around is it?
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Just think alphabetical.
It's fucking, what is it, 10 to 10 on a Saturday night.
Oh, boo-hoo.
And my brain can't do it anymore. There was a time where this would be the time I'd be getting ready to go out. I'm now going, oh, we'll get to go to bed within the hour. How lovely.
And some of us have to get up in the morning.
Yeah, you've got overtime. Last week I had to work, and then this week you've got to work, so... That's just our life, I'm afraid. So we have watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yay!
And I really liked it. I liked it a lot. We got to the end, and I genuinely didn't think the episode was up. I was thinking...
Just another 10, 20 minutes to go,
Yeah, I thought maybe just over halfway through. So when it suddenly ended, I was like, oh. 50 minutes already. I mean, it wasn't 50 minutes. It was, I think,
43.
About 43 in reality.
With 6 minutes of credits. So, Marvel maintaining the WandaVision theme there.
Well, also, that fits... I mean, I don't know... we don't know what future episodes' length's going to be. It's probably already on the internet, but I haven't looked.
I gather Winter Soldier is...
A bit more fixed.
Yeah.
But that's... I mean, your standard Doctor Who's 42 minutes, etc., etc. For
and dear God, it's
timing.
one of those episodes feel a lot longer than 42 minutes.
The one called 42. Actually, I didn't mind that too much.
Which one was that?
It's the one with her off of EastEnders and Martha in a pod in space. Burn with me, that one. There was men in suits and they had fire in their eyes.
Oh, yes.
And Martha got sent into space, a little thing going out a window, and then she got magneted back in.
Magneted?
Yeah. They use magnets. Magneted.
Okay.
But we're not here to talk about Doctor Who. It's weird because I don't have much to say. I liked it a lot. I don't know.
Savor this moment, viewers.
So I don't.
Ooh, am I going to pay for that one?
No. I don't know much about Falcon or Winter Soldier outside of Civil War comic books and MCU, because they're Cap properties, and I've never read Cap. It's not something I've been into. So a lot of what's going on is genuinely like even though I never read a lot of the kind of Wanda stuff in the House of M, just from association and mates and stuff, I'd picked up a lot of what could be going on with WandaVision, so I could speculate and fill in gaps. This, I've got nothing. I've literally got as it unfolds. So you got the Red Hand Gang. La 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 da 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 da.
He literally came up with that in the kitchen about 5 minutes ago.
It's good, isn't it? For viewers of a certain age who remember the Red Hand Gang. Probably the same people who can recognise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Which apparently is the Pointer Sisters. No, apparently it is the Pointer Sisters. So I'm just watching it unfold, and I think it's... I mean, there were points in it where I was going... Is this unfolding slowly? But then when we got to the end of the episode, and I was like, oh, clearly not. Actually, in those moments where I was like, is this going a bit too slow? It clearly wasn't for me to have actually got to the end of the episode and not felt like it was the episode over. So you had that nice like setting the scene with what Sam's up to. Well, actually, 2 scenes, because you had the whole opening sequence with the parachutey stuff.
Yes.
Did we ever find out why the guy he was after was so important as to why the French-speaking people, possibly French-speaking Tunisians, were so keen to kidnap him. Did we?
EDLAF or whatever it
Yeah.
was. No.
Yeah, yeah. Which is like the KLF but different, and
Are they justified?
and ancient. They drive an ice cream van, but it's I don't know. So I don't know what that was about. Is that just you know how like a lot of superhero movies start off with like the end of a previous crime just to get you into the film? Was that what that scene was, or is it going somewhere? Is it going to tie into the Red Hand Gang? La 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 la. That's going to be a thing.
They're not the Red Hand Gang.
They could be the Red Hand Gang.
Stop calling them.
It's what happened when they grew up.
Gang.
Because that girl was still as a shop dummy for ages, wasn't she?
I have literally no idea what he's talking about now.
You must remember the Red Hand Gang.
No.
And they used to like bounce on trampolines like for the credits and stuff. No? I'll show him after.
Why didn't I just say yes? I remember it.
Would have been easier. Just saying.
So he forgets sometimes that I actually watched way less television growing up than he did.
Yeah, this is true.
Like way less television.
Yeah. But yeah, so obviously they are. I don't know what just happened. There was this rumbling above our heads, and there's a cat appeared down here, I think. Oh, and there's another one coming.
Every day a new adventure.
If you ever want to really entertain yourself, live with 3 cats, two of which grew up together.
Live with these 3 cats specifically.
Oh Jesus!
This is why we don't do videos this late at night when we're this tired.
No, because the rambling's even worse than normal.
And that's saying something.
Really, it's saying something for us. So it just sets up a lot.
I think it's probably, I think also because obviously again tonally it's obviously very different to WandaVision.
Yeah.
We were talking about this just before we came sort of on air. And we probably should try and remember what we talk about and stay talking about that because it's so much more focused on what we end up rambling on about when we're actually on sort of camera. But I remember obviously sort of sitting back at the end of the first episode of WandaVision and just thinking, what the fuck was that? Absolutely loved it, but it was literally just like, what the fuck? There obviously wasn't any sense of that with this, which again is not to detract from it because they are 2 very different properties. And I think it's also important to remember that we are not watching them in the original intended running order.
No, I mean, if you think about it like that, the MTU, if for want of a description, should have gone like the MCU and given you ordinary mechanical-based shit first, and then gone weird and wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So we kind of got that just, and I think... weirdly, and obviously fortunately for what Kevin Feige, what Kev is doing, it doesn't actually detract from it because obviously in WandaVision you actually got to see firsthand, which is again, the first time you see it, kind of what happened when the blip was undone, with Monica obviously effectively reconstituting. Whereas obviously with this, Sam was one of the people that got blipped. So you don't have any of that. So I think probably in the original one, you'd have kind of seen, and it's very clear that what Winter Soldier is doing is the same thing that WandaVision was doing for that particular episode, is kind of filling in some of those blanks that were left by Endgame.
Because didn't they both blip?
I
want to say Bucky blipped as well.
I think he did, yes. Yes, he must have done because he wasn't in the final roundup, was he? As in, like the bit
until they all started coming back.
Yeah. So obviously you've got that, but you've got this. I've kind of lost track where we're going now. But I think with this, it's kind of like you would have been seeing from obviously Sam's perspective, obviously the stuff with his family. That there are obviously hints of what it was like for the the unblipped. I don't know what's the term they're calling it for the unblipped.
Remainers? No, that means something else.
Ooh,
no.
no.
Don't get into that. Don't get into that.
Open that kind of worms. We will be here until fucking tomorrow, like literally. Anyway, the unblipped. So you kind of get a sense that things were not great, and obviously they're clearly setting the scene in terms of all of these people, 50% of the world have suddenly reappeared 5 years later,
along with 50% of the fish in the sea, which I loved.
Yeah,
that was a great line.
And it hasn't magically fixed everything. If anything, it's probably creating more problems because you have the whole thing of they're looking for someone to sort of heal the world essentially, and of course the unspoken bit in that is the whole, or they're looking for someone to blame. So it's very clear that this is going to be about kind of that sort of rise of extremism and people's sort of negative reactions to the blip. Whereas obviously in WandaVision you actually physically got to see the whole thing, which obviously wasn't much more personal, but I think that probably would have been a more powerful setup if we'd seen it in the original order. But no, this is brilliant. It's because one thing that struck me, which again I'm going off on another tangent, but obviously it's set up as the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and obviously all of the trailers made it look like essentially like a
team up buddy movie.
Yeah, but in very much the sort of the Tango and Cash sort of.
Not sure that's the best example to apply to it.
Lethal Weapon.
That's better.
Where they don't actually get on with each other that much. But literally the entire first episode, they're not even remotely together. It's very much this is Sam's story, this is James's story. Is it James?
Yeah, Bucky.
Yeah, James Bucky Buchanan. Or Buchanan Butwood. I don't know, I'm tired. So that was quite an interesting misdirect. And yeah, I'm genuinely curious as to where this is going to go.
Yeah, so what's the main story going to be?
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's going to be the... You know who I'm talking about. The Red Hand Gang. La 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 la. La 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 la. So I'm assuming they're going to be kind of the baddies. But there's obviously something behind it. Well, we know Baron Zemo's in it. That's been part of the publicity, yes. So that's not a spoiler. So we know Zemo's coming. So he's not unattractive, but there's part of me that thinks that his involvement is something of a misdirection, and he's not necessarily going to be a baddie. Like he's just going to be, like come in. I suppose in the same way as Agatha did, come in as a baddie, but actually then not ultimately be the baddie.
More of an antagonist rather than a and ultimately probably end up sort of like helping or something. But I think what's interesting is it's quite clear, because if you consider that with the exception of some minor clerical errors, looking largely at the first Spider-Man film, date-wise it was always set when we saw it in cinemas. So you're always, I mean, obviously not Captain America because it was in the fucking 40s, but do you know what I mean? So like Iron Man was supposed to be 2008, so on and so forth. Avengers was meant to be 2012. And then of course they jumped 5 years of their own future, of their own thing in one of our years. So they had a kind of 4-year gap. So they've got the buffer zone for COVID at least.
Marvel put COVID out. It's all a big conspiracy to the MCU makes sense.
Oh Jesus! Like the fucking 5G shit wasn't enough of a
It's when you consider that Marvel are owned by Disney. There's plenty of people out there that would believe anything you tell them negative about Disney. We could make this go round. It'd be hilarious, absolutely hilarious. But so they've got. So when I'm just trying to track it back in my own head. So Infinity War was 1 year ago in the cinemas. 2 years ago.
2.
Was it 2 years ago? Yeah, you weren't living here, were you?
No.
It wasn't just before you moved here.
No.
So it's got to be 2 years ago.
Yes.
So that means that. I said Infinity War. I was actually thinking of Endgame.
Oh, okay.
Shit. But Infinity War is where you need to take it from, because that's the start of the 5 years.
Yeah.
So if that's 2 years ago, we've still got potentially another 3 years before they can put out a movie that isn't like Black Widow set in the past or what have you, because they've got retail stories. So what they're doing at the minute is you've got Blip happening and how it immediately affected Wanda and Vision, how it immediately affected Sam and James. Obviously, the end of, or I would assume based on trailers, the events of Endgame lead straight into Loki. So that takes you through the first 3 series, and so that puts them then kind of concurrent. Doctor Strange 2 is multiverse. That could go anywhere it wants. Do you know what I mean? So they've kind of got to tread water for a bit, or just not put dates in films. don't.
When will you learn, filmmakers?
just don't put a date in it. It's fine. So I don't know what the plan is. I'd kind of heard rumours, but they were kind of carrying off Facebook style rumours, so I wouldn't like to put too much into it. But I've seen people say, "Oh, they're filling in the 5-year gap with these properties to get to a point where they can just kind of catch up to them, if you like."
Current again.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to wait 5 years for another Marvel movie.
Well, you wouldn't. You just wait for another one that's
set in the present.
Yeah.
I mean, rather than just like a Black Widow type one.
I don't know when. I don't know about the whole Thor, Love and Thunder thing. Is that Love and Thunder? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know much about that. But of course, the thing is, COVID's put so many of them back. They've probably not got to stall as much as they originally had to. So that's probably gone in their favour a little bit. But yeah, this is cool. I liked it a lot as a solid kind of action drama. Action adventure?
Yeah.
What do you want to call it?
It kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird because, I mean, obviously one of the strengths that I know we've talked about with the MCU, and I know it's something that I've mentioned in one of our previous videos, is that they don't do superhero movies. What they do are an espionage movie, a spy movie, a fantasy movie that involve superheroes. So they go for the genre first and kind of do that. So, again, it's kind of, and we've only really got WandaVision and one episode of sort of Falcon and Winter Soldier to go on, but it seems like they're kind of doing a similar approach, which is it's very much let's not try and kind of shoehorn this in. Let's basically go, we want to make an homage to sitcoms, and we'll basically make it about Wanda and Vision. I think with this one, it's kind of this weird blend, because I do get really strong, like you sort of like if they made, I don't know, Mission Impossible a TV show, elements to it.
It's almost like that's how it all started.
But then obviously you've kind of also, because they're obviously going sort of which the movies generally can only really do sort of lip service to. They're kind of going a bit more into the characters as well. So obviously we got to see a lot of some of Sam's sort of family tensions. We got to see a lot of the stuff that Bucky's dealing with.
His rehabilitation.
Yeah, but which doesn't make necessarily for great film viewing, but can make for absolutely amazing
TV.
Yeah.
So
they're kind of mixing this weird blend of like Mission Impossible style action thriller TV show with sort of elements of almost like a crime procedural psychology type
well,
thing.
it's just kind of filling in the cracks, really. It's what you were just saying about the things that would slow a film down work well on television, and it's world building and it's filling in those gaps. That people would go, how come he got better really, really quickly then? Well, because we didn't want to spend 40 minutes in a film wasting time with him in fucking therapy.
Yeah. And the reality is, as we now know, he didn't. He was just masking it.
Yeah. Which isn't good, Bucky. Let it out.
Don't let it out all at once, because you are still a bit, borderline psycho at times.
But then, of course, it ended on something of a what? Mic drop moment, because they named a new Cap. And of course, the whole thing everyone's been saying about this series is which one's going to take on the mantle of Cap. Is it going to be James or Sam, because they both have in the books, I understand. Again, don't really read it, don't know, but I'm sure that's what I've been told. Certainly, I think Bucky has been.
Bucky, I'm not. I mean, literally, my involvement with Captain America is when he crossed over into some of the X-Men New Mutants comics. So and obviously what I've picked up again from MCU and stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that Bucky definitely has at one point, because I think that was part of.
I think Sam has as well. I'm not 100% on that, but I think so, somebody will tell us. Anyway, it's 65p, Shadow. You can't have it. What are you going to do with it? Get on the shop and ask for more cat food. They're shut. You see the look I'm getting off this cat? He tried to steal my money.
You'll buy drugs with it.
The cat took my money.
You'll be on the catnip.
We've got catnip if he wants catnip. We haven't got to buy any more. We keep our cat supplied with drugs. So you can't see this. He's very gently reaching at his paw and touching my elbow, going, Dad.
Dad, have some sweets.
We're getting a look now, and the ears are back. Anyway, I have no idea what I was talking about.
When even your cats are tired of your shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So then they dropped the bombshell of what looked like in the artwork in the credits. Did I say John Walker? Is that who I said?
Yes.
Because I'm now thinking Johnny Walker's either Radio 2 or whiskey, and I'm thinking if I made that up.
Well, Johnny Walker is definitely a brand of alcohol.
It's a shame the camera's fixed, so we can't turn it around and show everybody. But
the moment we put the camera on, he won't do it.
He won't do it. No, has he got? I'll do that after. So is there going to be a new Captain America? Is this going to be the whole thing of
Is this like US agent or whatever the character's name was?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'd have to look it up, or Matt will tell us. So
Paul. Was it Paul? It was Paul with the last one, wasn't it?
Oh, Paul Burns. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I went somewhere else in my head then. I was like, no, he doesn't watch these. And then I know too many Pauls. That's the problem. Pauls and Marks.
Which Paul were you thinking of?
Ledbury. Well, he does watch these actually, yeah. But he's never commented on any of our shit. So, yeah. But anyway, complete aside. Paul Burns will indeed put us right, because he knows loads of shit about this.
Hi, Helen.
I can loads of shit about this. So it was a good start, solid, very enjoyable, and it's 6 episodes total, isn't it? So we've got 5 more to come. Let's see where it goes.